We were all familiar with Karrion Kross, with those of us who watched NXT. A sick, destructive force who demolished his way to an undefeated streak that included 2 reigns, including being the current NXT champion. He had a match on Main Event to begin his main roster tenure, where he picked up a victory. But this Kross was greatly different. His entrance was completely gutted. Scarlet had even been taken away. His music didn't even sound the same, and didn't have the same effect that it normally had when Karrion Kross entered for a match. And this was the case for his Raw debut as well. He would face Jeff Hardy, who brought back his No More Words theme for the fans, the first day that fans would be back in attendance for WWE Raw. The match would consist of Kross being in control like any other match. I mean, Kross had been undefeated for quite a bit, and it was only evident after the way Jeff had been being treated recently that Jeff would lose. But with his feet on the ropes, Jeff Hardy would snap the undefeated streak of Karrion Kross with a roll-up. In a post-match promo, Kross alluded to Hardy not knowing what he had just opened himself up to. But what had he opened himself up to? I can tell you one thing. The internet didn't care. The internet was annoyed with Kross not being booked to dominate. How could a 40-plus-year-old Jeff Hardy, past his prime, get the high profile of a win? How could somebody who was a first ballot Hall of Famer bury Kross? How could NXT be buried? You name it, fans were saying it all about this match. But hey, Kross is ruined, right? There's no coming back from this, right? No, you're wrong. And here's why. One loss will not make someone as dominant as Karrion Kross irrelevant. Jeff also used a roll-up with his feet on the ropes, making him look weak in defeat. Somebody who is burying talent looks weak in defeat. But the internet doesn't care. The internet wants everybody from NXT to get pushed, right? The door is now open for a high-profile match at SummerSlam between Kross and Hardy, where Kross will go over on a much bigger stage. It's also been proven that Vince loves bigger physiques and Kross fits the bill. I mean, come on. Lesnar, Goldberg, the only thing that a lot of these people who are current champions, who have been past champions, who Vince has been high on, the only thing that they've had in common, they are gigantic freaks of nature with huge physiques. The issue that Kross has is the issue that any member of NXT does. Name recognition. No one on Raw knew who he was, and those who did were very far in between. You'll notice during his entrance that there was not much of a reaction, if any at all. I mean, you had the few people who were like, yeah, Karrion Kross, yeah, but it's not even compared to the reaction that he gets in NXT. Bottom line, Karrion Kross will go through anybody and everybody until he can finally break apart Jeff Hardy. And the heat he will get by beating a fan favorite and legend on a big stage such as SummerSlam, which is basically the WrestleMania of the summer, will be insane and solidify him as a top heel on Raw. Just think of the promos Kross could make after choking out Hardy. You fans love No More Words? Jeff had no more words to say as the life faded from his eyes. Things of that nature write themselves. To me, Kross getting beaten the way he did opens up more options than preserving his win streak. Because if people do not understand, what the NXT fans who also watch main roster WWE don't understand, is a win streak has to be snapped at some point. And no matter what, the longer that it goes on, you guys are always gonna be disappointed when it finally does snap. Because in our minds, whoever we like in NXT, it needs to carry over to the main roster. And it's two different writing staffs, and the fact of the matter is, we don't have any control over that. We really don't. But losing does not necessarily mean that Karrion Kross is buried. Does not necessarily mean that all of this buildup has gone down the drain. I think Karrion Kross is not done with Jeff Hardy. No, I know Karrion Kross is not done with Jeff Hardy. And I know that if this is the same, remotely even the same Karrion Kross that we've seen at NXT, he is not going to let this die, and he will destroy Jeff Hardy. And that's why this loss helps his character development. This gives him something to do on the main roster. And it's not like he's not going to get the loss back. And when it comes down to it, it's Jeff Hardy. When he gets that loss back, he's beating a legend. And who knows, maybe that's the start of an undefeated streak on the main roster for him. Because he's still undefeated in NXT. Don't forget about that. But did WWE ruin Karrion Kross? I think in the moment they did. But I also think that they can recover from it. Thank you.